Right. Good evening. Thank you, everybody who was able to join us this evening to talk about the end of the year celebration for the seniors. This is a really busy time of year, but trying to plan a celebration for our seniors is a good busy. Like we're all really enjoying it, and things are starting to come together. We were waiting for the final guidelines from the city of Northampton and to come through to make the final decision about where the celebration for the seniors would be, the graduation and the celebration. And so the city of Northampton has decided to adopt the state's guidelines, which allow 500 people for an event like graduation or an outdoor event like graduation. So we decided to go with Look Park and have the graduation ceremony in the Pines Theater there. And along with that, we've also rented the 6 pavilions that are available to be rented at Look Park. And so that allows us to have more folks, which is how we can have families in the park during the ceremony, which is something we really are feeling strongly about and happy that piece of it is able to happen. So I'm excited right now and trying to catch my train of thought. It's been a long day, and I'm like I said, good busyness is happening. All right, so the plan is for the graduation ceremony to happen on Thursday, June 10th. Now, originally in the beginning of the year, you saw the calendars. It was planned for June 11th when we thought there was a possibility we could have it at the Mullins Center. But now we've decided to go with an outdoor celebration because we can't have an indoor event, excuse me, at the Mullins Center or anywhere else for that matter, that could accommodate all of the people we anticipate, all of our graduates and their families. So we're going to go with Look Park. So the way the day is planned out, there's a lot of details that still have to be decided. And Ms. Camera and Ms. Upchurch and Ms. Haygood will talk to you in a little while about some of those details, and you'll be able to have a chance to fill out a survey. But I'm going to quickly go over kind of the overall view of the day, and within that, there will be certain pieces of it that will be filled in when we get the results of the survey back. So the exact times are pieces that we will fill in once we get the survey back as well. But on Thursday, June 10th, unless it rains, then if it rains, the rain dates are either going to be Monday the 14th or Tuesday the 15th. But for right now, we're obviously planning it for Thursday, June 10th. So the day will start out, the seniors will show up at Look Park, and they'll have the rehearsal that day. And then after the rehearsal, we'll provide some lunch for them, and they'll be able to hang out with one another. Of course, we're going to make sure that everyone is safe and distanced and enjoying one another's company. And then after that goes on for a little while, everyone has a chance to eat. Then families will start to show up. And we're figuring out a system for where each of the families will be at the different pavilions. And then once the families show up, all of the seniors will enter the Pines Theater, where we'll have the graduation ceremony. We're shooting for a short but meaningful ceremony without quite as many speeches or quite as much pomp and circumstance, but with just as much meaning and just as much love and attention and celebration that we normally have. And after the graduation happens, then students will be again allowed to, have time to socialize and mingle with their friends and families who will be spread out. I'm kind of jumping all over the place a little bit, but all the families will be spread out at the 6 pavilions. And how we're going to organize that will be explained as we go through tonight's presentation. But so after the ceremony happens, and in the Pines Theater, and again, in the interest of time and everybody having the same experience and giving students as much time to socialize with one another safely as possible, we're going to have, the limit to what and many people can be in the Pines Theater, all of the families who will be in Look Park will be watching the graduation through a live stream at one of the pavilions, whatever pavilion they end up at. And then so after the students leave and finish the graduation and have their diplomas, then they're going to be able to go and socialize with each other, with their families, take pictures and hang out for a certain amount of time. Then approximately, maybe 6-ish, 6:30-ish, families will start to leave the park. And then the seniors will be provided a dinner, and then we're going to have another celebration for them. We plan on having music in the Pines Theater for the students who want to stay in the Pines Theater and dance and socialize at least 3 feet apart with their masks on. And we will also still, since we have rented the pavilions, we'll have them all day. And right next to the Pines Theater, there is a volleyball court, a small field, a basketball court, the other pavilions, a playground. So students will be able to socialize with one another there if they don't want to, and they be able to hear the music from there as well. So they can dance in the field, or they can dance inside of the Pines Theater, or they can hang out and do other games and the other activities that a lot of them will organize, and really is designed so they can really enjoy their company, making a whole day event to try to end the year on the most positive note that we can. And it was kind of a quick explanation, but once your seniors get the survey, you'll be able to see in there, some of the details that you'll be able to choose so we can finish our plans. And then once the plans are finalized, everyone will be sent kind of a, agenda of the day and with specific times and what will be expected of the seniors and their families and how the day will really go. Of course, as we're going through this, if you're thinking, if I did go too fast, you want me to repeat something else, questions pop up, please put them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer all your questions this evening. All right, speaking kind of fast, sorry if I lost some folks, but now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Camera.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. I'm delighted to be here for the same reason that Mr. Sadiq is delighted to be here. This is a celebration, and we're excited to be able to do this. Yeah, we did look at a lot of different venues, and this one really seemed to serve all of our purposes. So there's a couple things that are going to happen. The class council is going to create a sign-up genius for the pavilions. Okay, and so more to come on that, but the idea will be that families will go ahead and sign up for the individual pavilions. And then we'll receive a sort of colored armband, and you'll go to that pavilion, which is where you'll be watching the live stream. Currently, we have a plan to have, again, the live stream at all 6 different pavilions, and then we'll staff those pavilions with some technology staff to manage that. So the idea will be the screen will be big because folks will have to be distanced at those pavilions. So those screens are going to be pretty big. The good news, though, is that at each pavilion, we can have 150 people. I do see that there's some questions coming up, and we'll answer them all at the end, but I can answer Amanda right now and say, right now, there will be 5 tickets per graduate. However, the next thing that I'm about to say is we're going to send out a survey. And this is a survey for students. And the survey, it's really, really important that every single senior respond to this survey. And their survey is going to ask some clearly very important questions. Number 1, are you planning to attend graduation? Right? There's a chance you might not be able to attend graduation. And so it would be important for us to know that. Okay. And then if you are attending, how many people are you planning to bring? So again, the idea is 5 tickets per person, but there are plenty of students that have really large families. And so if you know for a fact that you're only planning to bring 4 guests, then our hope would be you'd be willing to put those 2 tickets back into the pool for families that are much larger. Okay. But again, it's right now it's 5 tickets per student. Now there's a chance the regulations in the CDC regulations and then Northampton and state regulations might change, and then that would change this a little bit. So right now it's 5 tickets. So that's sort of the second question. We also want to know what kinds of performances students want in the ceremony itself. So that is another question. We're also going to ask what type of food. Are you interested in catering? Are you interested in food trucks? And then the last question we're going to ask is, what kind of music would you like? Would you like a DJ? Would you like a band? So those are the questions that we're looking to ask in that survey. So it's really important that folks fill that survey out. It's also really important that once you get the Sign Up Genius for those pavilions, that you fill that out as well. And more will come on that from the class council directly. So right now, what I want to do is I want to turn it over to Liz and Brittany, who are our class advisors. They've been working really hard on this, and this has been a tricky year for the two of them. And they're getting, hundreds of emails a day about this. And so it's one of the reasons we decided to go ahead and have a meeting so we could get the information, disseminate the information all at once. So they're going to talk to you a little bit about the parent group activities that are happening. And as they talk about this parent group, this parent volunteer group, I'm going to go ahead and put some links into the chat regarding the parent activities. So over to Liz and Brittany.
Britt, you want to go first? Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Brittany Upchurch, as Ms. Cameron said, class council advisor, and equally as excited to be talking about a very special moment for all of our seniors in June, just a few short months away. Would you like me to get started, Ms. Haygood, with some information? All right. So we had an opportunity to meet with Becky Demling and Sally Fitz on some parent-run endeavors to celebrate our seniors. And a couple of things that we talked about were endeavors that the whole community can get involved in to celebrate our students, to honor our students, and definitely give them some moments to remember as they transition on from Amherst Regional High School. So one of the first endeavors, I suppose you could say, that we talked about were either window signs or lawn signs for each senior, as well as signs to go out on the common in town. Very similar to what was done last year for the class of 2020. And in doing so, each graduating senior will have a sign for their home. We'll have signs to go neighborhoods and apartment complexes, signs for the common, and then also including some signs in downtown, similar to last year, a large banner and even some light post banners that are going to be put up and on display for a couple of days, if not a week or two. Another activity or endeavor that we spoke with these two about was the car parade. Again, something similar to what was done for the class of 2020, but I know that they're looking to put a couple of different twists on it to make it really special for our group of seniors this year. And one of the last, activities, if you will, that we talked about in regards to our seniors was a June 4th ice cream social. So it's tradition that on the last day for seniors, once they have been dismissed, that they head out into the parking lot and they have an ice cream social with their peers. And this has gone on every year that I've been at the high school. And again, something that this group of parent volunteers was looking to make sure that we expanded upon and had for our kiddos this year in a safe and regulation safe way this June. So I know that Ms. Camera has put some links in that maybe you're already starting to click on and look through. I don't know if Ms. Haygood would like to chime in at any point, or I can continue here with fundraising goals and kind of where this parent group is at. Oh, you're muted, Ms. Haygood.
I wanted to thank everybody who's been on this call. Most of you know me, Liz Haygood. I'm the class of 2021 advisor with Ms. Upchurch. And I especially wanted to give a shout out to our student class leaders. They know who they are, and I know you know who you are. And they've been working really hard with us and trying to keep a pulse on everything and answering as many questions as they possibly can. I think it's very important that you reach out to Ms. Demling, Ms. Fitz, and the committee that they have. If you're a parent, they're trying to really, really help us make this a meaningful year for our students and our children. And so they have a goal of raising money. They're asking for like $30 per family or as much as you can give in order to help defray the cost of some of the things that they're trying to put together for our students. And so if you wanted to reach out to them, I'm not sure, they can't be on the call, so they can't speak, I guess, but you should email, if you can't get a hold of them, you can email me or Ms. Upchurch, Ms. Cameron, Mr. Sadiq, and we would forward your email to them so that they can get back to you. I think that's it for now. Please pay attention to Ms. Cameron's emails on all the things that you can do in order to get a hold of the parent group. And if anybody has questions, they can also email them or email one of us.
Thank you, Brittany and Liz. That's great. So if you look in the chat, you'll see that I put there's a volunteer sign up, as well as one option would be to contact Becky Demling directly at beckydemling@yahoo.com. There's also an opportunity here to donate if you'd like to donate. There is a GoFundMe here in the link, in the chat, excuse me. We will also send out an email with a lot of this information in it, and we'll include these links as well. So I'm going to go ahead and shift directions a little bit now back towards Mr. Sadiq, who's going to talk about returning school supplies, and then we'll head into an opportunity for questions and answers.
All right, thank you, Ms. Camera. So seniors, your last official day of school will be Friday, June 4th. So that week is a short week because May 31st, that Monday, is Memorial Day. But June 1st through the 4th, at any time after school, once you are finished with your books and Chromebooks, we're asking that you please bring them to the school. There'll be people here up until at least 4 o'clock on most days. If between after school and 4 doesn't work, please email either myself or the ARHS office at arps.org and let us know a time that will work, and we'll make sure that somebody's here to receive the supplies that you bring back. Yeah, it's really that whole week that we're asking you guys to bring back. And then, of course, on Friday, June 4th, there will be the ice cream social, and the celebration will start.
Okay.
I was
going to say, what else do you want, whatever you want to add, and then we'll move to question and answer. Go ahead.
So also on June 4th, I do believe is when we'll be handing out caps and gowns. So keep that in mind as well.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, Miss Camera. And the only other thing that I wanted to add was that, we had a conversation a couple weeks ago now. And I said, the phrase "it takes a village" has really taken different shape for me over the last year. So I think if you're hearing this and you're excited about some of the things, coming up for yourself as a student, get your families involved and help Miss Demling and Miss Fitz and all the others on this parent committee that are putting forth some time and effort to make these things happen for you, right? And if you're hearing this as a parent or a guardian or family member, get involved. We need your help. We want your help. Our students deserve the help. So anything that you can do, nothing is too small, whether it be monetary or, of course, your assistance in any of this. So just keep in mind that, as the sun starts coming out more and we're moving into spring weather, we want to make sure that we're enjoying each other outside in some of these wonderful ways as often as we can and as safely as we can. So definitely reach out and get involved.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move into the question and answer section of this. And I'm going to start with, I think, is Grant Pawicki. Grant Pawicki is asking, will this dance celebration be in lieu of a prom? Mr. Sadiq, would you like to answer that question?
Sure. So it will be in lieu of a prom. So right now, the regulations on the prom are pretty strict, and we thought this would be our best alternative. We're going to have a chance to provide food to allow all the seniors a significant amount of time to dance and celebrate. And we're thinking of ways to make it a little more fancy. like potentially having like a red carpet and the DJ maybe announcing people as they walk back into the Pine State after graduation for the prom dance party portion of it. We're definitely open to ideas on ways again to make it more prom-like and more fancy. People are, of course, they can dress up. They can have their dress clothes underneath their gown, or their family. They could leave their clothes with their families and then change afterwards. It'd be totally up to you. But yes, this is what we're going to do instead of a prom.
How many guests will be permitted per graduate? As of right now, it is 5 per graduate. Again, there'll be an opportunity to get some additional ones out of a bank, hopefully. And there's a chance that the state and city regulations may change. So we'll see. Right now, it's 5. So someone is asking for a translation of this. I don't know if you tried to turn on closed captioning and then translate it into Spanish. That's an option. If that's not working right now, we certainly can do that once this is being recorded. So once it's been recorded, I can have it translated and then send it out as part of the email. Amanda, I have to ask this question. You deserve to put this here. Who is Amanda Demling? And Nora Harris's response is some lady. I think we know who, Amanda, I'm pretty sure you know who your mom is. So I have to put that up because it's hilarious. Logan, return of the DJ Chromebook. That is absolutely possible. And it's an interesting idea. I would encourage you to go ahead and write to the class council. Let's see. Another really interesting question from Amanda. You deserve this. You put them in the chat. I'm going to put them up. Can we go pass fail for this quarter? I'm not vibing. I'm pretty sure your colleges would frown upon that, but it's funny. Okay. Susan, will there be places for students to change, get ready at the park? The answer to that question is yes. There are bathrooms at every pavilion. This one is a good question. I'm not sure I know the answer to that question. I know that dogs are allowed in the park, but I think we might have to get back to you on that one unless someone else has an answer.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but if your family, yeah, we'll have to check into that and get back to you. I don't want to answer prematurely and then have to tell you, oh, by the way, it's changed, but we'll get back to you about that one. Thanks.
Will graduation be live streamed to houses as well? It's going to be live streamed throughout the world. Anybody in the world can watch this. Woohoo! Okay. Will seniors be able to bring a guest or a date to the celebration? The answer to that one is going to be a no, just because the space doesn't allow for additional folks. Logan says he was joking. I wasn't joking. Okay. Graduation is going to be at Look Park in Northampton. Thank you, Shannon, for answering that. That's a really good question. Are baby toddlers required a ticket for entry to the graduation? I'm going to go with a no on that. What do you think, Mr. Sadiq?
I would say no as well. So they'll be allowed to be at the pavilion with their family. Yeah, I gotta believe that will be fine. For what, under 1 and under, I'd say. Or
yeah,
2.
I mean, babies who are being held by family members are sort of part of one person. Okay, I'm going to wait a few more minutes for additional questions to see if they're coming in.
So while we're waiting for questions, I'd just like to remind everybody again, so we're going to send out the survey in the next day or two. And the sooner we can get this back, the sooner we can finalize the plans and then get everybody on the same page about exactly what that day will look like and give families the time to really plan and figure out how many extra tickets we'll have. So families who really want more than 5 tickets can have them. And then we'll get a more accurate number of how many folks will really be at the graduation ceremony. So we can start preparing for and buying the food, reserving the food. There's a lot of graduations happening in this area during that. And there's like a limited number of food trucks if we go in that direction. Because we learned that the food trucks that can come into the park have to be licensed not only in the state, but also by the city of Northampton. So that again, the sooner we can get kind of final numbers and get those final pieces of the puzzle figured out, the better chance we'll have, having better options for those pieces.
So will the park be reserved for the graduation events, or just the graduation events? The answer to that question is mostly yes. We have rented all of the pavilions. However, there's some central space that's going to be used for athletic events. I think that there's lacrosse happening. So there will be other folks at the park, but very few. Will entrance to the park be free? I think the answer to that is yes. We're covering the cost of that for sure. Are there things that family and friends who can't be there can do to celebrate and support graduates? That's a great question. Does anyone have thoughts about that? That's a big question.
All right, so we are happy to say that they can watch the live stream of the actual ceremony itself, which I think is great. But yeah, in terms of other things that they may be able to do,
one of the things they can do is get a hold of Ms. Demling and Ms. Fitz and work through them as the parent group to help support the other endeavors as we continue to try to work out graduation/celebration type things, because they have a different type of celebration going on for the students. And I think they're doing a wonderful job in coming up with ideas to support each other. So if you have some ideas, you can drop them into us or drop them into Ms. Demling or Ms. Fitz, and we can figure out who is going to take on that.
What are the hours for the whole situation, like rehearsal to end of celebration? So we have rented all of the pavilions for the whole day. Excuse me if I step out of turn, Mr. Sadiq, but I'm thinking we're going to have rehearsal sometime mid-morning. And then graduation is going to be sometime late afternoon. And then we'll have the park all the way until 8:30 when they close at sundown. What does a handicap access look like for guests in the graduation ceremony itself? Great question. Ms. Upchurch, you were studying that pretty carefully. Do you want to answer it? Otherwise, I can.
Sure. So we looked into how many handicap spots there were, close to pavilions, right when you come in, closer to the Pines, and just throughout the park. But we've also discussed bringing our golf cart, our district golf cart, over to the Pines so that we can help to transport guests to the pavilion that they've reserved their spot in, but certainly happy to discuss with anyone any particular questions or concerns about a family member or guest to the graduation ceremony. So if that doesn't quite answer your question, feel free to reach out and we can discuss how we'll best accommodate getting everyone where they need to be safely.
What's the date and time of graduation? So it is, thank you, Susan, Thursday, June 10th, and then the rain dates are June 14th and 15th. The time is still to be determined. We're going to base that a little bit on the responses to the survey that the students fill out. So for now, we're going to say late afternoon. You're welcome. Will the train be running? Now that I cannot answer, but since the park is open, I'm going to guess it is, but I will ask that question. Becky, are you hoping to ride the train is really my question. Okay. I'm going to put this up here just so everybody can see it. Thank you, Susan. I'm going to give another minute for questions, and then we will wrap up.
So when we do communicate again with families about the agenda for the day, we'll find out like what will be available, like if there, because there's also like a snack bar there. There's also other activities and things that are on the site, and we'll find out which ones will be open and which ones people will have access to. And we'll also let people know about the food situation, catered or lunch trucks, etc.
I just wanted to add while people are asking about their questions that this is being recorded and it's going to be up on our website. So if I know there's some people that couldn't be here tonight for this meeting. So if you know of somebody who couldn't be here, have them log on to this oh my God, event, I call it, I guess.
Yeah,
And then if they have additional questions, they can direct them to any of the four of us, and we'll get you the correct answer.
Grant, you're asking the $1 million question. Are parents only allowed to watch from pavilions, or can they be in the theater? Unfortunately, the theater is not big enough to have additional guests. With all of the graduates, we can only provide, it could only be one guest, and that felt deeply problematic to us to have only one guest, given how families operate. And so the event will be streamed into all of the pavilions, and so all of the families will have the same exact experience. So yes, that's a great question. It's a really hard question, and we don't love the answer to it. But given the times, it is what it is. Becky is letting us know that the link will also be in the PGO newsletter this Friday. Thank you very much, Becky.
Thank you, Becky. And if the train's running, I'll ride with you, Beck.
I'll put some thank yous up here. This sounds great. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Kim. Okay, so I'm going to look at the YouTube channel right now quickly and see if there's other questions coming in that we might be missing. No. Becky is saying it's a date, Ms. Haygood, in case you're wondering. Fabulous. Okay, so thank you so very much. I think you, at this point, know how to get a hold of us. If you have additional questions, go ahead and reach out to us, and we'll be in touch. I'm going to put up I'll put some more thank yous up here so folks can see them, because those of us that are in the back room here can't see all of these. So I think it's important to see. Thank you, Stacy. It's good to see you. Shannon would like to ride the train too. And yes, congratulations, Talib. This is all good. This is good. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Take care. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Alicia. Congratulations. Take care.